debate Uncut and After Show. I'm your host Nathan Oakley, and if you are new to this channel, or you've not done so already, then be sure to subscribe, hit the bell notification icon and join button if you'd like to become a Nathan Oakley 1980 channel member and keep up to date with the Flat Earth debate. If you would like to support the channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside each of these shows while they premiere. There's also a coffee, Patreon, crypto and thanks button in the info box below the video. Speaking of patrons, I'm going to do a quick shout out to all of you who do support me on Patreon. So a massive shout of thanks and appreciation to Smith Tools and Purchase, Level Plain Poem, Vitali Z, Colton James, BG, Survive the Spin, FE Patriot, Thomas van der Zander, Chris Wouters, Sea Level Cultist, Mitch Kennedy, Rod, The Name's Burley, Jason Hornsby, JMails24, Unimento, Iron26, Endless, Retro Bill, John Kays, Patrick Gunnels, Banter, Hairy Blade, Mobile Max 777, Rob W, Del West Watson, Unbelievable Productions, Blue Ridge Ranger, Abraham Mohammed, Skeptic 936, Texas Mike, Chow Cat, David Wayne Foster, and Dank. So another massive thank you to all of you for supporting me on Patreon. Links to Patreon are below this video. With that, I will hand across to whoever is in Discord and Google so you can enjoy their dulcet tones while I set up for today's live show.
Hello, Neil. Neil is back.
Hello, how's it going?
Feedback.
Who's that? Ventriloquorum?
Yep. How's it going, Neil?
All right. I was just reading a message in Ballbusters from QE saying that I just went into 24/7 and tore, is it Al Arden, an Indio double dumb? Says it's where word 7 new assholes. I would have liked to hear that. Looks like it was 1 o'clock in the morning. I thought he was banned from 24/7.
Yeah, but those bans are
I
not
have no idea.
permanent. Yeah, for a period of time.
Nathan's show is banned from 24/7, right? That's the one that...
Nathan was banned from 24/7 politics. Permaban. Without warning. Just immediate permaban. Now they claim that they spoke to Nathan and Nathan doesn't want to go there anymore. And that's why he's not allowed in there, whatever that means. I don't know.
Yeah.
They didn't want us there. They didn't like how we do things here. Nobody ever does. FED banned.
Yeah, FEG cuts the argument off at the knees.
Nathan should create a sock account with Oakley Nathan instead of Nathan Oakley. And just go there again.
I am hoping that this book gets around and people learn what to say and what not to say, because my son comes out of his room yesterday. He's like, go on TikTok. Dr. Blitz is on there and he's calling out flat earthers. You could call in and join the show. I wasn't able to get through, but I was in the chat. The moronic people that came on as flat earthers. No, I don't know. It's probably set up that way. People are freaking retarded. It's like, where have you guys been? It's 2025. So the one guy, he says, to the guy, so you believe the earth is flat? And the guy says, nah, I know it's flat. So I said, oh, this should be good. So Dr. Blitz says, well, how do you know it's flat? Gravity don't work. Gravity's fake. I mean, this has to be rigged.
Well, I mean,
Yeah,
to
I
say
think there's a lot
gravity's
of
not
rigging going on.
real, it's fine
Especially
if you can,
TikTok.
like,
There's just
expound on
these-
what you mean.
It's like clickbait, and then it just takes you off on this tangent and makes Flat Earth look totally stupid.
It's the wrong path, though, you know? I understand what you say. Because gravity is not going to prove flat Earth, is it? Gravity is nothing to do with measurements of Earth.
Exactly.
How do you know it's
But-
flat? Because it's measured like that, navigated like that.
I thought
Traveled
that was going to be. Listen, I thought that was going to
Exactly.
be the next words out of the guy's mouth, and he said because gravity don't work, it's a fairy tale. I was like, oh my god. I shared the video with Nathan, and I think I even put it in Master B. If he chooses to, he could just play it for a few minutes, so you guys could see for yourselves or hear for yourselves. Retardation land.
I would love to be invited to one of those shows and participate on it.
Yeah, he had it set up where you can call in. So I just stood in the chat because then I went to YouTube. He was on live on YouTube also. So I just went in the chat. But yeah, you can call in. Because he can't go nowhere if you go to measurements. Where's he going to go? Alberuni? Eratosthenes? He'll just be proving our points.
But those are the measurements. Yeah, but those are the guys who measured it.
Yeah. So when you go to measurements, he's got no other choice but to go there. And then he'll be proving Earth is flat himself.
Exactly. You need to walk them there, you know what I mean? Hold their hand, drag them by their short hair, like they say, you know, and let them debunk themselves.
Yeah, because they're immediately going to skip right past the flat Earth measurement and think they're going to proceed on. Say, hey, no, wait, back up. Let's talk about this over here. This elevation angle he used.
But then you need to go even further back. You need to define what an angle is in the first place. Not just what is a right angle.
Yeah, he should be able to
Yeah.
say two straight lines meeting at a vertex, right? That's what he should be able to define.
And that's where the problems start, you know? These people, they struggle with a horizontal line. Imagine a right angle. You know, if you cannot understand the primordial steps, how are you gonna understand the more difficult stuff? If the horizon is horizontal, by definition, how come he's talking about curvature? You know,
Exactly.
for how long we've been talking about this? Curvature at the horizon. There is none.
How are you?
Good afternoon.
Very well.
Bonjour.
Very well. How are you all?
Very well, thank you for asking.
I've literally only just woken up, so I've got virtually nothing planned or nothing in mind for today's show. So it's going to be
I got something.
Oh, okay, fair enough. Go ahead, Neil.
I put in a video yesterday. My son came out of his room all excited because the Dr. Blitz guy was live on TikTok calling out flat earthers. So flat earthers joined and began to prove how Earth is flat. If you'd like to hear it, we
Okay.
can go through that video.
So to give us a bit of background, who is this guy?
The guy that QE and went over with India. The what do they call him? The mathematical.
Ponytail guy that's not sure if he has hands.
The
Sorry.
mathematical physicist.
We aren't for
mathematical
everyone.
physicist.
We are for those who have spent a
Okay, I'm up for that. I've got it up. I'm just going to skip through the ads and then we'll get to it, I guess. Is it good?
You'll be very disappointed in the flat earthers and how they try to prove Earth is flat.
Okay. When does it actually start? Because last time when QE covered it, it took him at least, 20 minutes just to check that he actually had sound coming out of his own stream. Here we are again.
I got it.
We're playing. This is now 20 seconds into his live stream. He hasn't said a freaking word.
All right, we should be back live again.
Should be. You'd been live for 25 seconds, my friend. This is another section of dead air. We're still playing. I haven't paused yet. That's 40 seconds. I'm just going to comment straight away. This man is an idiot. If he doesn't know how to immediately start talking once live and figure out how to figure out your live immediately, then just don't do it live. Just do it as an edited video. I mean, this is just pathetic. Now, if you're a radio station, you'd get fined for this amount of dead air. I'm not even joking. You'd get a fine. But no, he's looking around, he's on his computer, he's checking if he's live, says one sentence, 60 seconds later, we've got no content. My God.
We are back.
You've been back for 45 seconds.
We're back, y'all. Sorry about that. Sorry about that. Let's bring up a guest again. Can you guys hear me?
Oh my God, this is infuriating. A full minute in and he's still trying to establish if they can fricking hear him. Maybe check before you go live if people can hear you or not. I mean, it isn't that difficult. Bloody hellfire. No, we're still going to have to suffer total dead air for endless lengths of time.
Welcome, welcome.
You've already welcomed me.
Testing.
Is you still testing? My God, get on with it! This is just infuriating. I already hate this man. I just hate him. You know, this is so infuriating. Why? Why have we got to sit through him saying testing for a straight 5 minutes? Have we got to do that? We're already into the second minute of it.
See, he's not a professional. When I turned it on, he was already
Professional wanker.
So it's like,
how many minutes before we actually start, Neil? Because this is just going to piss me off. I've already got my blood temperature boiling.
when I turned it on, he was right in a debate.
Well, what minute was that?
I'd go in about 10 minutes.
Wow, really?
It already has been. It already has been isolated.
So
it's been isolated and proven. Gravity is absolutely a factual, real, objective phenomenon.
Did he just say gravity's a real phenomenon? Is this the guy hosting the show?
Yes. Now, let me give you a little background. That's the first guy. He said he knows Earth is flat. And when Blitz asked him how he knows, the guy said gravity is not real. I thought he was going to come with measurements.
This is a rigged game, isn't it?
That's what I'm thinking.
What? So your proof for Earth being flat is the non-existence of 110-year out-of-date rhetoric. Now, just for the guy, whatever his name is, ponytail guy, you've got your own side telling you that gravity is not an observable phenomena. It's not a force and hasn't been for 110 years. It's a pseudo-Riemannian geometry invented by a man named Einstein. Now, that fourth-dimensional geometry cannot exist in reality because we haven't got a time dimension to bend. Time in of itself is a concept. Now, the notion that you've got a downward vector, 110-year out-of-date Newtonian gravity mass attracting mass, requires a horizontal plane of reference to describe it. It's a perpendicular vector with respect to the plane of reference that you're describing the downward vector with. In other words, weight. Now, weight, as a description, can be utilised as a concept or as an actual description of things that we actually observe if they move in a downward vector relative to a plane of reference. Now, not all mass moves in a downward vector. I'm looking up at clouds. Now, gas in their crazy world of gravity, has mass. Whatever the hell that is, not defined. But in their world of Newtonian forces, gas would be attracted to the centre of the Earth. Gas go down, go boom, boom? No. Gas moves in all directions. If it happens to collide with another mass of gas, it will bounce off it. It's called elastic collision. Now, this fundamentally undermines the 110-year Newtonian out-of-date rhetoric of mass attracting mass, giving you a downward vector with relation to a planar surface. You don't have down on balls. You need a flat Earth for this 110-year out-of-date gravity. But just to give you a couple of quotes from your own side, Professor Brian Cox, quote, "There isn't really a force of gravity at all," end quote. Now, this ponytailed idiot has just said it's an observed phenomena. No, it isn't. Gravity is not a force, end quote, George Musa, Scientific American. Now, these are quotes from your own side that fundamentally describe the lack of force in a non-phenomena currently being described with a fourth-dimensional bent space-time. Now, if you want to show me how you bend time, I'll accept it as a phenomena. So that's what we'd require, given that that's what current, up-to-date gravity is. It's a bent pseudo-Riemannian geometry. Now, the clue should be in the pseudo bit when you think about bending time, which you cannot do. But this numpty seems to think it's an observed phenomena. No. Go ahead, Neil.
Not only that,
He's got an experiment.
Neil.
Sorry, George. Yeah, he claims he has an experiment, Nathan. And it's not Cavendish, so this is interesting.
An experiment that validates the fact that, quote, gravity is not a force, end quote, or, quote, there isn't really a force of gravity at all, end quote. But this numpty thinks he's got an experiment for it. No, you don't. It's a bent pseudo-geometry in current vernacular in your paradigm. So, no, you definitely don't have an experiment for this.
Stop it.
I know that this is so triggering to you, sea level.
Read it. I want to hear about this fact of gravity.
Oh, you want to hear?
Why? Who's this flat earther? You want to hear about his fact about gravity? No, you need to tell him why he's wrong and then tell him how Earth's flat. Now, a lack of gravity is not a flat Earth proof. Quite the contrary, like I've just pointed out, if you want to appeal to it being a flat Earth proof in any way, shape or form, you'd need to appeal to the downward vector Newton uses. That would be perpendicular to a plane of reference for the downward vector. But you're not doing that. You're saying the lack of gravity proves a flat Earth. That's bollocks. Who is this idiot flat earther?
Hear about it? Gravity is the weakest of all known fundamental forces and
Sorry, do you want to take this up with Scientific American? George Musa, quote, "Gravity is not a force." Now, you can think of it as a force, but, quote, Brian Cox, "there isn't really a force of gravity at all." Now, this idiot seems to think that it's the weakest of forces. No, there isn't a force of gravity at all. This idiot hasn't been keeping up with his credits because he doesn't seem to understand what not a force and isn't really a force at all mean when described by his own freaking gurus. No, ponytail, you're an idiot. Maybe go out and study what gravity isn't before describing it as a weak force, when there isn't one. It's a bent time dimension, you stupid clown.
continues to pose some of the most outstanding open problems to modern physics. It remains resistant to
Flat Earther, shut up. He's talking. You had your chance. You told him to talk and tell you about gravity. Now he's apparently doing just that. So you need to shut your dumb flat Earth mouth while he talks, so I can moan about him interrupting you and not the other way round.
Unification within the standard.
Is this really going to be this flat Earth numpty constantly interrupting this guy? for the entire stream? Because again, I don't want to listen to it. It's inaudible.
Model of physics and its underlying concepts.
Physics. Let's clarify that as he's mentioned it. Physics, unlike pseudo-geometry, is the study of the physical, shocking, and natural world. Step 1. Observe natural phenomena. Step 2. Formulate a prediction, that's a hypothesis, with the independent variable, your presumed cause, of the dependent variable, the naturally occurring phenomena you observed at step 1. It also has a zero difference result alongside what is called the alternative hypothesis. It resides in an if and then statement. If this, then that. That being the observed phenomena, this being the presumed cause. The null being if this, presumed cause, not that, a zero difference result. Ergo, upon experimentation, step 3, that would be variation and manipulation of a presumed cause, you either validate the null, it doesn't cause the effect, zero difference result, or you prove the cause of the effect. Natural science is exclusively dealt with by, shocking, the scientific method, which elucidates the cause of naturally occurring phenomena. That is science. That is physics. Pseudo-geometry bending space-time isn't a force and is not physics. It's Einsteinian maths. This guy's a complete idiot.
Appear to be... Oh, I thought you wanted me to read the article.
Yeah, I've got to agree with him. Shut up, dumbass flat earther.
I know the
So shut up. Don't stutter through him. He's just told you to shut up. I'm agreeing with him. I hate having to agree with my opponent because you can't keep your flipping mouth shut.
story. We want to talk
Here
about the
we
isolation.
show the
Did you forget?
gravitation.
You had your chance. You said you believed in a flat earth because gravity isn't real. The lowest, crappiest of incorrect standards you could possibly apply to a belief that's based on how Earth's measured in reality. Now, you, dumbass flat earther, need to keep your flipping mouth shut while this man presumably attempts to prove gravity's a force now. Now, you don't know why he's wrong, but you're going to incessantly interrupt him, are you? Well, then you're going to get a sharp end of my tongue as well as his.
Coupling between two gold spheres of 1 millimeter radius,
No, he's talking about Cavendish, Neil.
thereby entering the regime of sub 100 milligram sources of gravity.
Right. If you're measuring things in milligrams, then you are measuring them perpendicular to a plane of reference in a downward orientation. That downward vector requires a horizontal plane of reference for you to measure it. So before we've even started, this man is using flat earth prerequisites and downward vectors perpendicular to a plane to weigh things and give them a weight. Yeah, weight requires a flat earth. You don't have a downward vector on a sphere, you only have in and out. In order to weigh things accurately, you level your tool to the plane so that you can measure perpendicular to it in a downward orientation. This requires a flat earth in order to measure. You want an example? Like TFE, when they did the exact same stupid nonsense. And what did they do before anything else? They leveled their tool to the plane of reference. Something you can't do on your delusional ball that's derived from these flat earth prerequisites. Like perpendicular, in this instance, for a downward vector that you don't have in bent space-time.
Let's talk about the fact part.
That was your contribution through the top of him, was it? Let's talk about the facts. You didn't manage it. You said that you believed in a flat earth based on the lack of something. Non-positive claim proving a positive belief. My God, this flat earth is a complete clown.
Gravity fact. I ain't heard that yet.
Further improvements enable the isolation of gravity as a coupling force for objects below.
Do it again. George Musa. Gravity is not a force. You, a clown, can think of it as a force. But, quote Professor Brian Cox, there isn't really a force of gravity at all. But yet this clown seems fit to cite it as a force. No, you're 110 years out of date, you complete muppet.
below the Planck mass.
If you want quality...
Gravity is not a force, sir.
Yeah, sure it is.
That was a reasonable rebuttal if it had been followed up with some justification for dictating to him why it's not a force. His handwave rebuttal was useless as much as your almost adhering to the facts in this matter were just as useless without justification for why it's not a force. It's not a force for the following reason. Because 110 years ago, Einstein superseded Newtonian downward vectors that require a plane of reference, that's a flat Earth, with bent pseudo-Riemannian geometry. That's why, quote, there isn't really a force of gravity at all. I hope we're all clear. From me, Nathan Oakley, the flat earther. Neither of these two numpties have actually surmised particularly well why gravity would be a bent space-time or why it's not a force. Meanwhile, Earth is measured flat for Newtonian gravity downward vectors, and in terms of how Earth is mapped, charted, measured, flown across, sailed upon, it's measured flat. So I would lead with that, whoever you are, flat earther, rather than a incorrect assertion of an out-of-date gravity that doesn't prove you're flat Earth unless you're appealing to Newton's downward vector, which you're not. So this is garbage, and it doesn't prove a flat Earth for you. I can just about, with a lot of word salad, spin it into a flat Earth proof, but it's about as garbage as it gets when we've got flat Earth measurements. That's how Earth gets measured. Rise over run, horizontal distance, trigonometry. These are all used when measuring and surveying Earth. Flat. It's the only way it can be measured if you're going to perform trig. It's the only way it is measured if you're measuring rise over run. So Earth is measured flat. We don't need 110-year out-of-date planar perpendiculars for downward vectors. This is garbage.
No, it's
All
not.
right, sorry, I'm done talking slow like a dumbass.
I doubt that. You don't know what gravity is, so you are a dumbass. I'm here to tell you that using the words of Brian Cox. You've repeatedly stated that gravity's a force, making you a moron. Sir, there isn't really a force of gravity at all. You've alluded on multiple occasions to there being a weak force. No, there's not. You're wrong, and your reliance on a downward vector would need a flat Earth to describe it, perpendicular to a plane. That's how we weigh things. Meanwhile, gas, which has mass, isn't attracted to Earth's surface. Quite the contrary, if it was to make contact with Earth's surface, after coming out of it in an upward direction, it would bounce off it, with something called elastic collisions that you're clearly unfamiliar with. Weight is not gravity. Weight requires a flat plane and a downward vector. So you're going to need a flat Earth if you're going to describe weight. Weight isn't gravity, gravity's not a force, and bent pseudo-Riemannian geometry is only true in your mind's eye based on Einstein's maths, not physics.
Yeah, you can.
I shouldn't say talking slow makes you a dumbass, but when I talk that way, it makes me feel like a dumbass.
You are a dumbass. You keep alluding to gravity being a force, that makes you stupid.
You can believe gravity is real all you want. Let's see gravity in action.
So now you're challenging him to show you? Why don't you put an end to his incorrect assertion with an actual standard, rather than constantly flipping the burden of proof? So this flat earther has alleged that his proof of flat Earth is the lack, oh my God, of gravity. But yet he's putting the onus on his opponent to show him. Why? You don't need a non-positive claim to prove a flat Earth. It's measured flat. Perpendicular to a plane of reference forces aren't real. Newtonian axiomatic planes that are needed wouldn't be my standard and shouldn't be anyone's. It's out of date. So what are you doing, putting the onus back on him? That's a burden of proof reversal fallacy used by the flat earther.
Oh, right. So I have the evidence that says that it is real. Do you have evidence?
You have evidence that says it's real? No, you do not.
Evidence that says that it's not?
Right, so you're going to now flip the burden back? Oh, just as guilty. Brilliant. I can start smiling again and calling the idiot bull believer a numpty. So you've just said that it is a force and is real. But you've just asked your opponent to prove non-positivity. Can you prove it isn't real? Sorry, you're going to challenge me to prove that there are no unicorns next? No, the burden of proof is on the person who claims it is. Now, the fact that the flat earther is so stupid that he's using non-positivity to claim proof of a flat plane that we measure is his issue. But you, if you want to now claim that gravity is real, you have the burden upon you to prove that, not him. So is this just a do-si-do between two complete wankers flipping the burden of proof back on each other, back and forth? What a pair of wankers.
I just showed you a study that demonstrates it.
Sorry, you don't do studies on non-forces.
I got the evidence from MIT University.
Yeah,
Yes.
okay, what's the evidence?
Yes, electrostatics will always be stronger on...
So electrostatics being stronger doesn't prove a non-force of gravity perpendicular to a plane. So what have we got? We've got an ether believer and a flat earth believer. These are the people representing us, the ones who have the most heavy of all suppression foisted upon us by the YouTube algorithm, while the numpty dipshit flat earthers go around talking about forces of ether. What a load of garbage. Why aren't these people in front of this man saying Earth's just measured flat? That's how it's measured. Give me any measurement and I'll show you how it's a flat Earth prerequisite. If you want to flip the burden, which you shouldn't. You should just demonstrate Earth being measured flat. List a list of examples. Say, flying in a plane requires something called level flight. That's why the air traffic controllers call out your flight level, measured with barometric pressure off surface level, otherwise known as sea level. You notice how all these things have got the word level involved? And in the pitch data that we've got measurements of Earth with, we can show parallel flight level measured off sea level, axiomatically requiring Earth be a planar surface exactly as measured. Furthermore, the pitch of the aircraft is described with respect to horizontal and is nose up for the duration of level flight. That is a conclusive and absolute demonstrable fact that is utilised when investigating death, should the plane depart from level flight. At that point, you shut your dumb mouth and then you watch your opponent disagree with how life and death investigations are conducted with flat Earth measurements. That's what you do if you're going to tell someone Earth is flat. You don't say, I know Earth's flat because there's no unicorns. And there's a unicorn force that's stronger than the non-unicorn force I haven't not proven. So this standard from our so-called flat Earth brethren is garbage. I hate the fact that I'm represented by these wankers. Yeah, I don't want to be associated with them. I understand when there's a sentiment from certain flat earthers that say they don't want to be a flat earther, because this is the kind of numpty idiocy that we have to deal with when we call ourselves flat earthers. By calling myself a flat earther, I am automatically tarred with the brush of idiocy that this man is portraying as a flat earther, and I am absolutely tired of it. This man does not represent me. He has no opinions that are valid so far, and he's not a flat earther because he's not proved he knows Earth's flat. So how can he call himself a flat earther and justify this absolute demonstrable measurable fact with ether and a lack of gravity? Answer, he can't. So by rights, he shouldn't call himself a flat earther. Himself.
Sorry, what's the peer-reviewed study that you're citing here?
Right, you think he's going to cite a study? So if I was to say I believe there's no globe because of unicorns and their lack of existence, there's no unicorns, therefore Earth's not a ball. And you say, what's the study you've got for there being no unicorns? Because that's what he's told you. You're obviously not listening to him because he just told you the lack of gravity is his proof of flat Earth. You're going to ask him to cite a study for the lack of gravity. It means you're not listening.
Electrostatics.
That's not a study.
Walter Lewin, MIT
Oh,
professor.
sorry. Is this a peer-reviewed study?
Sorry, a peer-reviewed study of non-gravity is not Walter Lewin and it's not electrostatics. So a non-category in terms of gravity is going to give you your non-gravity proof. Garbage. Idiocy. Why are we represented by this fool?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it is.
You're pretty sure? You're not going to slap on the cited Walter Lewin study that you're appealing to on the desk in front of him, you're pretty sure? Dumbass.
No, it's not. I know what you're referring to. It's a YouTube video.
Whoa.
It's a YouTube video.
Whoa. He's a professor.
Yeah?
All right. So we've got an appeal to authority fallacy being used by our so-called flat Earth representative now. This is a joke.
And you're citing a YouTube video.
No, not a YouTube video.
It is a
He didn't. He cited a professor.
YouTube video.
From
Gave a name. He didn't give a YouTube title. Again, this guy's not listening, is he?
the school, sir.
Yeah, the lectures are
watch his
YouTube
lectures.
videos.
So he's a lecturer then, who happens to use the format of YouTube to pass on his information via that medium. That's not a YouTube video, as you just said. You're wrong. Meanwhile, this is the crappiest of standards ever in terms of proving that Earth is flat. I can prove it's flat with a different standard. Let's move on immediately, as we've had 11 minutes of this garbage. Not that we've listened to all 11 minutes. Most of it was him checking if his freaking sound worked. But Earth is measured flat, with rise over run. The run is a horizontal distance measurement. The rise or drop with respect to it is what we use to measure hills and valleys, relative to a plane. That's how Earth gets measured. Same with distance measurement. Go and look at a map and the scale therein. All of them are flat for the linear flat distance measurements that you will put on any map at any scale. Because Earth is flat, distances are utilising flat linear measurements. So therefore, you can only describe and measure Earth as a plane with a horizontal reference. To do so far, 11 minutes, absolute garbage from both sides. Neither side has proven their point. They've had plenty of time to do so. Any comments? Because I've been hogging the mic for at least half an hour.
Well, I think it's rigged because this can't be real. I mean, it's 2025. We're the only ones speaking about measurements? Really?
Yeah. Yeah. We were talking about measurements in places like the politics server, but eventually we got banned for racism, or I did.
That's why I believe this book is very important. We got to get back to work. It's got to hit the presses. It's got to get out there, because if this is what we're being represented by, it's shameful.
Yeah. What's the dude's name? The flat earther.
I think his name is Sea Level.
Name Sea Level, and yet he hasn't appealed to that yet. I mean, that is about as good as a standard as he could have appealed to. Your screen name Sea Level, why not appeal to that immediately? Why not? I don't get it. If you're going to call yourself Sea Level, why not just say Sea Level? Those two words end the debate. You've got something that's based in measurements, that's a universal standard that's used for measurement in all respects across the entire surface of Earth. But he hasn't appealed to it once. He's appealed to the lack of gravity. What the hell is going on? Is it just an afterthought? It just sounded cool. Did it Sea Level? Yeah? You've got the evidence. You know the evidence. Why not use it? Or at least study what Sea Level means so you can appeal to it in some capacity. Because you haven't. And what I was going to do, although I've just immediately gone to his standard based on his screen name, if that's what it is, buy my book, read it, and understand how to absolutely annihilate people like this once it comes out. That would be my advice to you. Win arguments with decent rhetoric, rather than this crap using their burdens that they should be proving in non-positivity. For you, don't use that as a standard, it's crap. What do you guys think in Discord? No opinions from Discord?
I think we put them to sleep, Nathan.
Me putting them to sleep, or you?
The video, I guess it wasn't a good choice.
I could spend 10 minutes checking if they can hear me. Can you hear me? Check. Can you hear me? Is this working?
No, you sound good. Sorry, I was having a combo too. My bad.
Have you not got an opinion on this so-called debate thus far?
Just a little bit I heard. My wife's just got in, so she's been talking my ear off. But just a little bit I heard, I'm not really impressed.
Okay, fine. We'll get back into it Anybody else got an opinion? Speak now. Clearly not.
Hey, they might have made them on it.
It's not. It's not peer-reviewed. It's not a peer-reviewed study. No, it's not.
But who cares if it's peer-reviewed or not?
It's a YouTube video.
Nuh-uh. Are you saying gravity is stronger than electrostatics on Earth?
Sorry, it's not a force at all. Why are you asking if it's stronger than something? This guy doesn't know what gravity is or isn't. This is his opener.
Are you
have to give me. You have to give me a relevant scale. So are we talking like at the scale of Earth's radius?
Are you saying that?
At the scale of radius, you won't get a downward vector perpendicular to a plane for weight if you're appealing to Newtonian forces, which you are. 100 years out of date or otherwise, you're not going to do that with respect to the centre of a sphere because you won't get a plane of reference from a sphere. So, no, that's not how Newtonian gravity works. 110 years out of date that it is.
At the scale of Earth's radius.
Or what scale? The scale that you're going to describe weight with, perpendicular to a plane?
Yeah, it absolutely is.
It's a yes or no.
It absolutely is at the scale of Earth's radius. Now, at the scale of things on the surface of the Earth.
Surface? What, the flat surface? The planar surface that you'll be perpendicular to for weight?
Guess what, Blitz? Guess what?
Sea level. You're going to have to let me.
Sea level? What? Did this ponytail guy just say sea level?
Yes, he did.
Sorry, yo, dude, why in unholy fuck are you using sea level when you think you're on a stupid bastard ball? Don't use our stuff, ponytail. You'll have me spitting feathers at you using flat earth prerequisites like sea level. Or was he just appealing to the guy's name? You said that was his screen name.
Simple as this. You let me talk.
On the scale of things on the surface of the Earth, like on the scale of buildings, no.
What, when it comes to buildings, did you not listen to Simon Dan conceding how Earth gets surveyed flat when building buildings? Did you not see Dave McKeegan get out his flat blueprints and describe how well they worked? Flat. Obviously, you're unaware of how things get built. When we survey Earth to build something, it's built with respect to a plane of reference. You will level everything to build. Now, in order to do so, you need, shocking, a horizontal plane of reference. That's how surveys get done. I've already detailed rise over run. So you think that when building things or measuring things on the planar surface of Earth, that has some relevance to a sphere? No. It does have a reference to sea level, though. So we'll need a sea level for building things. Don't use our stuff. It's a flat Earth proof.
Electrostatics is much, much stronger than on the scale of like buildings or people or animals.
And flat Earth measurements that you're using.
Or whatever. On the scale of the actual Earth, 4,000-mile radius, yes, gravity is going to be stronger. Yeah.
No, you can't have gravity on your ball. It's described with respect to a plane in 110-year out-of-date Newtonian gravity. Meanwhile, you've got your current gravity, which is a bent concept. That's space-time. Now, you're not going to be bending any time. Time isn't for bending. It's like saying you got bent love. No, these are concepts. You don't bend concepts.
We worried about his own Earth because you don't know nothing about space because you've never been there.
So we're
Sorry, now we've got him talking about not going to space. So there's an illusion from the flat earther, oh my God, that there is a space, but this guy just hasn't been there. No. If you're going to deal with space or bring it up at all, which this opponent did not, the flat earther did. God only knows why. Meanwhile, the sky is not a vacuum. Now, in the heliocentric bullshit world of balls in sky vacuums derived from flat plane measurements and minimum elevation angle measurements to Polaris for radial values that this guy's just appealed to, first and foremost, I would ask, where did you get your radial value from? Because then you can insert the flat Earth prerequisite elevation angle measurements at their minimum to get radius values. Alternatively, you can appeal to Al-Biruni's derivation of radial value by way of trig and flat Earth horizontal distance measurement. Or Simon Dan if you want to use a modern equivalent. All of which requires horizontal planes of reference for altitude angles. Altitude being from the surface, angle being two straight lines. which is precisely how all radial values, inferred or otherwise, are measured. That would be in order to have a radial value to appeal to convert to sphericity, you first need to measure Earth flat. Once you've measured Earth flat and converted this flat Earth prerequisite elevation angle or horizontal distance measurement and trig to a flat, circular, straight line radial value, and then convert it to a sphere, you can then put it into orbital motion, based on, again, flat Earth prerequisite elevation angle measurements of stars. Once you're in orbital motion, you can then suggest that the sphere Earth you've bastardized a flat measurement with is residing in a sky vacuum 10 to the minus 17 torr. A direct violation of a law of nature known as the second law of thermodynamics, which describes entropic dispersion. That would be gas that's not moving in a downward vector, go down, go boom, boom, go splash, splash, expanding in all directions as per all gas behaviour, would fill the availability of volume alleged to be surrounding the sphere Earth derived from flat Earth measurements. Ergo, there is no outer space. But yet this flatty has just asked this person whether or not they've been there, basing his assertion and question on a preordained existence of space that is debunked by the second law of thermodynamics and requires flat Earth measurements in order to imagine it being there. So again, garbage representation of flat Earth.
We're talking about at the scale of the Earth's size? Yeah, at a radius of 4,000 miles, yeah, the gravity is going to be...
Yeah, you're going to need to get a flat Earth prerequisite elevation angle or horizontal distance measurement to derive that radial value. Now, if I was in front of you, I might chase down this red herring and ask you where you got your radius value from, but more likely I'd just tell you that in order to acquire it, you'll have to measure Earth flat, be it by Alberuni or minimum elevation to Polaris. That's where you get radius. Now, there aren't any alternatives, as Simon Dan found out. Hey, Dan, you watching? Yeah, you also tried to derive radius by using elevation angles 1,000 times. So it doesn't matter how many times Dan thinks he's going to derive a radial value from a flat Earth prerequisite elevation, that's off surface, level, angle, that means straight line. You're going to measure Earth flat to do so. Now, it doesn't matter who's doing it or when they're doing it, Earth is always measured flat. But this numpty's not mentioned it once, has he? This flat Earth so-called sea level guy.
Be the dominant force.
There is no force. Am I going to keep quoting Cox to you? There isn't really a force of gravity at all! You stupid clown!
Not ever going to be stronger than electrostatics on Earth, sir. It's
No,
too
I
weak
mean,
of
it
a
is.
force.
It is.
No, it's not a force at all. Idiot.
Oh, weak force going to be stronger than a
So now we're into, is gravity a non-force force that you can think of as a force but isn't really a force at all? Whether or not that non-force is more strong or less strong than a non-proven electrostatic ether-based force that hasn't been proven either.
Then
Because the
what-
electrostatic... The
This force
electrostatic,
gonna
in fact, the electrostatic
Nah,
force is
gonna
so
happen.
strong.
No.
The electrostatic force
Prove
is so strong that it neutralizes itself.
You're just talking.
The electrostatic force is so strong that it neutralizes itself.
It's a baseless assertion based on the non-proven electrostatics that the guy hasn't justified or defined in any way, shape or form thus far. Why are you trying to contradict something that hasn't been proven yet? I mean, this guy just doesn't listen. You're doing stuff that you don't need to. I shouldn't have to advise the bloody Glober on how wrong his standards are when his opponent, the flat earther I should be aligned with, hasn't standardized his evidence at all. You don't need to do this either.
Did you know that?
Did he know what? He didn't prove his point.
Yeah. It
So
will
once it
always...
I was agreeing with him. Oh my God. This is an absolute joke. Who gave me this? This is irritating. Did you give me
I
this
don't
to
know.
do? Neil. You should take responsibility for this. This is your fault.
He
Neutralizes
had
also.
a couple of guys on, so this guy was a real numpty. First of all, he said gravity's not a force. Now he's saying it's not a strong force. What's wrong with this guy?
Imagine being able to
Let's spin on to someone else because this is too irritating.
Do you think that you should believe the Earth is flat because the Bible?
It's not a belief. Let's just cover that immediately. No. Earth is measured flat for everyone always and without exception. It's not that I measure Earth flat. Earth is measured flat. Want an example? We covered gravity. 110-year out-of-date downward vector for an alleged force that makes gas go down, go boom, boom. Yeah, there's clouds, gases expand in all direction. That requires a horizontal plane of reference to describe perpendicular vectors in a downward motion. So in order to describe weight, you need a flat plane. You level your tool with respect to it perpendicular for the downward vector. So that's a measurement that requires a planar prerequisite. Now, that's a standard that I can evidence. Now, do I believe in that standard? No, I know how to weigh things. Do I weigh things? No, not really. My wife does occasional cooking and gets the scale out. But I don't need to do anything in terms of these measurements. That is how we measure weight. So I can describe it without having to do it myself. Same with rise over run. I'm not surveying Earth, nor would I want to. I don't care about surveying Earth. I'm a YouTuber. But me detailing rise over run is a flat Earth prerequisite measurement of horizontal distance. Now, you can deny that rise over run exists when surveying Earth. But it's how we measure Earth. Not me, just how it's measured. So fact, Earth is measured flat. It's not a belief. Now, I would expect whoever this guy's up against currently won't point that out. That we need a prerequisite plane of reference to reference if we're measuring Earth.
Bible says so?
Well, it's basic common sense. I don't.
How is it common sense?
No, wait. I don't want to say it's because of the Bible. I believe that the Earth is flat, but I acknowledge.
You shouldn't be retaining a belief in this full stop. It's one of the few things back in the day when Jerron was actually doing a reasonable job of being a flat earther. He used to point out that you shouldn't hold these things as beliefs. And I absolutely agree with him in that respect. Jerron, that is. Shocking that I should be appealing to him in this instance. But nevertheless, don't hold beliefs in this regard. Know it's flat. And if you don't, you need to buy my book when it comes out so you can find out exactly how Earth's measured. Flat in all regards for everyone, always and without exception. It always was, is, and always will be measured flat. Not by me, not by you, but by people who measure Earth. Now, if you're measuring Earth, for example, Al-Biruni, to derive a radial value that presumably didn't ever get justified or defined, he measures horizontal distances to do trig. Now, you can lie and say, oh, he didn't understand how refraction works. Well, he didn't get an angle if it's refracted. It is that simple. He must and does measure Earth flat with horizontal distances, regardless of your requirement to deny how Al-Biruni derived a radial value. With a flat Earth prerequisite elevation, flat Earth, linear, horizontal distance, and trig. That's how it was done, and those are statements of fact if you accept your own bloody rhetoric of where you got a radial value from, with flat Earth measurements. Alternatively, you could appeal to the minimum elevation angle of Polaris, which is based on an elevation angle measurement. That's measuring Earth as a planar surface for it to be elevation. That's off the surface, and an angle. That's two straight lines meeting at a vertex. These are facts that require Earth be measured flat for their ball belief. Because when we measure Earth, even if you're going to later bastardize the flat Earth measurement and turn it into a spherical radial value, you still need to measure Earth flat to do so. So to summarise, you don't hold beliefs in this stuff. You appeal to how Earth gets measured if you're going to be a flatty.
Knowledge things and like what really makes sense to me makes sense to me.
Sorry, what makes sense to you is irrelevant to me. As far as I am concerned, Mr. Soft-spoken Flat Earth numpty, your opinion in this matter is absolutely irrelevant when I can appeal to how Earth gets measured. How you feel about this is inconsequential to me and anybody listening to this garbage. Go to how it's measured.
If you understand. But
okay, so what about sunsets make sense to you on a flat Earth?
Sorry, sunsets, when describing them for navigation, would be a measurement, again, of an elevation angle of the sun. So in terms of practical application, we use the sun and its position with respect to a planar surface that we measure with angle so that we don't die when navigating the oceans. It's been done to save lives. But what you want to talk about, a physical geometric sphere edge for a horizon that would obscure your view of the sun at sunset, that will also require a flat planar surface be measured. Because in order to derive the distance to the geometric horizon you are appealing to block the sun at sunset, you would need to first measure your height off surface level. It's right there in your maths that you'll need to appeal to suggest you've got a geometric horizon to block the sun. That's right, you'll measure Earth flat for that too. It's called surface level in Earth curve maths. And, ironically, you need a parallel eye level to make the maths work. Or to put it another way, you need a flat Earth more than we do to suggest that sunsets are being blocked by a geometric horizon at 1.22 times the square root of the observer's measured height off surface level with parallel eye level forming the mathematics. So again, like always, Earth will be and is measured flat for numpty ponytails appeal to a geometric horizon to block the sun at sunset. Now me, knowing how Earth is measured flat in all instances for every example, including but not limited to numpty dipshit bull believers' assertions that we've got a geometric horizon blocking the sun, will always require Earth be measured flat. Now again, in this circumstance, you, a ball believer, can deny the principal base measurement of Earth needed in your own mathematics, at surface level, and say it bends. But then you don't get a parallel eye level to make the mathematics work. It fails, unless surface level is parallel with eye level, because your maths for a geometric horizon fails. Meanwhile, that maths doesn't exist in reality. It's not something that you'll observe in nature. It's a geometric horizon marked with an X, labelled horizon, below the measured flat Earth surface level and parallel eye level used in those orthographic mathematics that this numpty ponytail is now appealing to. Notice how, like I said originally, every measurement of Earth will always be flat. In this case, surface level and eye level and height, perpendicular to a plane. Like all elevation is always measured. If you're going to get 1.22 times the square root of the observer's height, that's an altitude measurement that requires a plane you be perpendicular to. As always, Earth is and can only be measured flat.
Sunsets. So, like, what are you trying to say?
Yeah, so the sun.
So he got two words out, and you're now interrupting him. So now I can go back to telling you off. Maybe shut your dumb mouth while the opponent actually gets his words out.
It doesn't get further away.
Sorry, does it not? So, presumably, you've not looked at a map and compared what happens in daytime versus nighttime. Yeah, the sun's over a different part. When it's dark here, the sun's over there. Are you a retard? Do you really not appreciate that when the sun's not over this bit of the world, it's because it's gone somewhere else? Further away? Oh my God! This man's a complete spastic.
Gets lower.
Yeah.
Lower? Sorry, down. Orientations require a perpendicular to a plane of reference. You don't get to describe being lower on a ball. You don't have up or down on a ball. You only have in or out. Ergo, to be lower than something else, you need a plane of reference to describe that. Ponytail, don't use our stuff. You're not going to get to use down or height ever for your stupid ball. You need a plane of reference for that, idiot. It's a flat Earth measurement.
So, and with pertaining to gravity, do you think it's real?
Why are we back on gravity? Oh my God.
This is our representation, Nathan.
Crap. The standards are woeful from flat earthers. This is appalling.
Yeah, of course. Do you think that it's fake?
again, flipping of burden. So if you want to assert that there's a force of gravity, it's not upon your opponent to disprove that claim. That's a burden of proof reversal fallacy. Are you saying it's not true? No, the burden is upon you if you want to claim it is, to prove it. What are you going to do? Show me gas going down, go boom boom? Have you never experienced flatulence? Did it fall into a puddle out of your ass? Or did it fill your house, letting everyone around you know how dirty and stinky you are, eventually dissipating into the air around it? Yeah, that's because gas expands in all directions, without exception. Now, the only perceived deflection from that fact is when you have gas introduced to an already inexistent gas pressure. That is to say, there is something already in its way to bounce off. But gas has got gaps between it. That is to say that eventually all gases dissipate into their surrounding area, even if there is existing gas pressure impeding their dispersion. Meanwhile, there is an alleged 10 to the minus 17 torr sky vacuum claimed to be above our head in your numpty world of flat Earth measuring elevation angles and horizontal distances to bastardise the flat Earth you've measured into sphericity, to then suggest that you've got an area of volume above your head that gas isn't filling in line with gas dispersion descriptions and natural law. That would be the second law of thermodynamics. Entropy dictates that your belief in a sky vacuum's garbage. But this is not incumbent upon your opponent to disprove if you want to believe the 110-year out-of-date rhetoric that would have gas that comes out of the ground and going up actually goes down, go boom boom, go splash splash. You complete clown. Shout out to Kelrick, who just super chatted and said thanks for all you do. Well, thank you very much indeed for the super chat. Really appreciate the support.
Video from astronauts in space and yeah, the moon landing. How is the flag move?
This is a scattergun approach from the flat earther who's currently talking. Now we're talking about the moon landing. I thought it would go without saying, but now I've got to cover this. Based on what I just said, literally 35 seconds ago, the moon landing relies upon a journey through a sky vacuum. Now, it also requires you navigate with altitude measurements. You've even got footage from the bullshit sound stage that they were on filming, where they use a sextant in space that isn't real. Now, not only have they got flat Earth prerequisite elevation angles being claimed to be used for the navigation process, what an absolute joke. The area they're travelling through isn't real. You can't travel in a little spaceship through a sky vacuum with stop-motion animation being the source of the material, as nobody ever looked at the moon landing footage. It's taking place in an area that doesn't exist. Hence, they've got to use models. Meanwhile, if the sky was a vacuum to travel through to get to the moon, then the gas we are breathing would fill that space. We'd have no gas to breathe. Furthermore, we'd have never developed gas pressure. The very first particle travelling out from the ground would enter the area 10 to the minus 17 torr, as alleged in a sky vacuum-based heliocentric world based on flat Earth measurements, and it would never return. It would dissipate into the sky vacuum and never bounce off anything. So we'd never have developed gas pressure if the rhetoric of travelling through sky vacuums to the moon was true. There is no sky vacuum, ergo there is no travel to the moon.
When there's no air in space.
Sorry, you just asked if you thought that gravity is real, and now you're talking about the moon landing, so please...
Yeah, I hate having to agree with him. Yes, I said it was a scattergun approach. You've picked up on it that, at least. Yes, you're absolutely right. If he's going to assert gravity in a question form for a question proof that doesn't utilise a flat plane, unless he's appealing to a 110-year out-of-date Newtonian, going to the moon landing is a non sequitur. So, yeah, you could have used those words. You didn't, but fine. You're right.
Let's keep on the gravity thing if you want to.
Yeah, non sequitur fallacy, correct.
Talk about that, otherwise don't bring it up.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, because gravity gotta pertain to the moving flag, though.
What?
Space got no breeze, got no air.
What?
So, to be clear, you don't...
Nothing was clear in what that man just said. Nothing, literally zero. Couldn't have been less clear.
don't think gravity is real because the flag.
It's not that I don't think it's real. Now, you can think of it as a force, but gravity is not a force. End quote, George Musa. He's the editor of Scientific American. Same as Professor Brian Cox, who is the arbiter of such nonsense like gravity as a bent pseudo-Riemannian geometry. Pseudo letting you know exactly how garbage this nonsense of bent time is. But it's not a force, quote Cox. There isn't really a force of gravity at all.
Flag was shaken around on the moon?
Yeah.
So
no, they didn't travel to the moon. It would involve having a second law of thermodynamics violation. Sky vacuum.
You know that the flagpole wasn't just a vertical flag.
So flagpole, nobody travelled to the moon. You've been taken in by stop motion animation, like the garbage standard that they used, because that's what they had in the 60s to use. So you've got little models on bits of string in the moon landing. That's what you've got. It is basically Thunderbirds.
Pull that out a horizontal bar that was holding the flag up.
Sorry, a horizontal arc with reference to a plane on the moon? I'm thinking no, they didn't journey to the moon. It would violate the second law of thermodynamics, would have no gas to breathe.
Okay, and what?
Okay. Ugh, I'm going to spin on past this dickhead as well.
At AJ.
Any comments? Discord, you got anything to say while we've got an ad break?
There was one of them that was where he took him to Jiren. He was appealing to the Antarctica nonsense. I just don't know where that was. It was like the second or third guy in.
What does this have to do with the shape of the Earth?
Well, I came in, electrons and quarks.
So are you, by the way.
Oh, no, I'm not. No.
You're not electrons and quarks? What are you made out of?
I know exactly what I am.
What? Are you neutrinos?
I know exactly
Are
what
you
I am.
antimatter?
No,
dark matter. You're dark matter.
No, I know exactly what I am.
Look at this smug twat. Yo, fuckwit, you think gravity's a force, don't you, spastic? Smug twat.
And the problem is you don't know who you are or where you're
He doesn't know what gravity is. He's definitely a spastic, smug twat.
at. That's what's funny.
So what does this have to do with the shape of the Earth?
It doesn't. You got that right. It doesn't. Yet you're here to try and defend this?
Well, I came in, a little hot and a little whatever, but I'll just go ahead and break it down to you, right?
You're never going to break this down into a flat Earth proof, ever.
Einstein, right?
Yeah, I don't know him personally, but yeah, I'm familiar with him.
Oh, all right. Well, then we have Einstein, right? And then we have Epstein, right?
Yeah.
What list are you on, sir? Are you on one of the Steen's lists?
What a wanker.
Oh my God.
Yeah, so this is who's representing flat Earth. You know Einstein? Yeah, I know Einstein. Yeah. The guy who utilizes bent pseudo-Riemannian geometry where we have a time dimension bent. Yeah, I'm a familiar man with gravity and the current rhetoric in terms of its pseudo-geometry. Yeah, what of it? Well, Epstein? No. Well, which list are you on? Okay, so you're a wanker as well then. You're a slightly bigger wanker than the man on screen now then. Okay, I see. Very good. Wanker.
If you're asking, does my last name end in Steen? No?
No. What I'm saying is you are supporting the Steens, right?
No, he's not.
Right, and what we're doing is we're building the Epstein list.
So when we're talking about Steens, are we talking about people whose last name ends in Steen?
First time I've felt he's justified in interrupting this numpty. As much as I can tell this ponytail guy off for interrupting, this is the first time it's actually justified, isn't it? Yeah, you should talk through this numpty. I can't blame you. I'm not going to tell you off in the slightest. I hate this. I've agreed more with the opponent than I have with my own side so far. Haven't I?
That's sad.
I can't believe this.
All right, and the opponent doesn't know if he has hands or not. Like, this is ridiculous.
Yeah, he has said some numpty stuff, but in terms of what he's said so far in this broadcast, hey, Brian, by the way, he's said more that's agreeable than the Flat Earth opponents, and there's been 3 of them so far. I just can't believe I'm having to say this. It makes me want to cry.
You're really
because
hardcore.
Einstein's last name ended in Stein.
You're really hardcore on the Stein, right? You're drinking
Wait,
the
is
poison,
it Steen or is
sir.
it Stein? Because it's Einstein and Epstein. These are different last names.
You are a corrupted vessel.
What the hell? You're a garbage spewing nonsense flat earther. I mean, is there any decent flat earthers that go in front of this guy? We're 40 minutes into his stream. I mean, at least he's not sound checking still. But is there anybody who represents us decently?
Well, you a Nazi.
I can predict exactly what the fuck you're...
You blame Dave Weiss for this?
Yeah, I do. Like, these kind of, like, when people start saying stuff like this, it's usually the type of flat earthers you see in his videos and stuff. It's a lot of, he's caused so much damage.
No, you're going to have to expand on that. I don't know what you're talking about.
Well, just like if you like watch Dave Weiss videos and read the comments, it's all stuff like, I guess it's not fair to say. He might not know who Dave Weiss is. I guess, yeah, I shouldn't say that.
Nah, he
That's what
knows.
it seems like.
He brings him up.
Neil, you get what I'm saying. Yeah, oh, okay. It's very
You're going
irritating.
to say there, Einstein, Epstein, loving science, piece of shit.
I mean, look.
Oh my God. Let's spin on a little bit further. Hopefully we get a different person. While there's an ad running, please share the show if you've not done so already. 55 people watching, absolutely abysmal viewing numbers. Please smash the share button if you've not done so already. For whatever reason, my disdain level's particularly high today. People, for whatever reason, seem to find that quite entertaining. It seems the more upset and irritated I am with the situation and circumstance I find myself in as a realistic flat earth measurement using flat earther, the more entertaining I become to my audience. I don't know why that is, but for whatever reason, that is the case. So please share the show if you've not done so already. It's 2 clicks. Apparently, this disdain that I'm currently exhibiting is amusing to people. So good if you're finding me funny. Great. Meanwhile, Earth is actually measured flat. I'm not joking. And my disdain for this garbage is very real.
With gravity, because we can observe the effects of gravity on light.
Oh, can we? Can we observe the effect of space-time being bent? You think that's an effect we can observe, do you, Ponytail? No. The claim to be force of gravity was superseded 110 years ago, and you cannot bend time. Time is a concept, not a dimension. So if you understood your own bloody rhetoric, you'd understand how pseudo the bent space-time that you can't bend is. But you still think it's a force, don't you? Which tells me you're not educated in this. Tells me you didn't go to university and study at a higher education level, or you'd know it's not a force.
Yeah, but if it's just density, then surely.
Length, breadth, and depth.
Dimensionality.
Space is, yeah, it's length, breadth, and depth. That is not something you can bend.
No.
Light must have density.
Well, first off, the problem here is that we were all taught about gravity when we were kids before we actually understood anything.
Who gives a crap?
And then they added space and all of the fictional definitions in space. So
no, they didn't. No, they didn't add space. Why should I have to go through this? Why is this my job to explain my opponent's rhetoric? 110 years ago, the in vogue force of gravity was superseded by Einstein. Now, Einstein invented a geometry called pseudo-Riemannian bent spacetime. It's a fourth-dimensional, time-bending geometry. And the clue of whether or not it's science, it's not, it's maths. And whether or not it's a force, it's not. There isn't really a force of gravity at all. Is in the title. Pseudo-Riemannian geometry is exactly that. Number 1, a geometry alleged to be bending space-time. Now, time's a concept. You're never going to bend it. That's why we would prefer people actually stick to the current rhetoric of gravity, because it's so bloody easy to debunk. The clue's in the title. Meanwhile, if you're going to appeal to Newtonian downward vectors for gas, looks up at clouds, then you're going to need a plane of reference to describe that downward vector perpendicular to. We wouldn't appeal to this. But you're being challenged by an opponent to talk about this, which is not your rhetoric, flat earther. So telling him that you were taught it at school as an apologetic, who cares? Learn what it actually is if you're going to talk about it. It's not yours to talk about, but if you have to, you should at least know what it is.
To where now that's what you attach to gravity. When you
so what's the density of light? If gravity is actually just density, what's the density?
Did he say it was just density? Because that's not true either. But now you're being asked for a non sequitur of what's the density of light. Oh my god.
Of light.
Listen.
Oh, yeah, we're going to put light on a scale. What a wanker.
Listen to what I'm saying, man.
I am listening to what you're saying. It makes no sense, flat earther. You shouldn't be in front of this man. You're being humiliated.
No, I'm trying to help.
No, you're not. You're making things worse. All of you flat earthers just like the sounds of your own voices, and you think you're helping. You're not. What you're actually doing is assisting the opposition, because you make us all sound like we're insane. Yeah, talking about 9/11 truth if you're Dave Weiss, that makes us sound insane. Talking about ether and electromagnetic forces, that makes you sound insane. Talking about gravity and being brainwashed as kids, that makes you sound insane. And that reflects badly on me! So fuck off and don't call yourselves flat earthers, because you're an embarrassment. You're not fucking helping.
To what I'm saying. Gravity, by your definition, is...
Why are you giving him his definition? You haven't defined it, and neither is he.
Equally proportional to mass.
Oh, really? Gas go down, go boom, boom, go splash, splash. No, that's 110 years out of date, and neither of you know it.
What's mass? What's mass?
Precisely. Define mass if you're going to use it in the description.
Is it not?
Gravity is not. Gravity is a force.
Really? So maybe another quote from Cox. There isn't really a force of gravity at all. End quote, Professor Brian Cox. What was it this numpty with a ponytail just said?
Listen to what I'm saying. Gravity, by your definition, is equally proportional to mass. Is it not?
Gravity is not. Gravity is a force.
That's a sentence fragment. Gravity is not. Gravity is a force. It's a double negative in a sentence fragment.
It's not necessarily. It's not proportional to mass alone.
Sorry, if you're going to describe it as a force, which you absolutely are because you're an idiot, then it is Newtonian mass attracting mass. And as we've already had pointed out by Brian, define mass.
Yeah, it's sorry, Nathan.
Yeah, go ahead.
What he's trying to do is invoke two different, completely separate, they're always like this, gravities. Right? One that's a force and one that's an effect. One that is not claimed to be Newtonian, but not Newtonian, and one that is Einsteinian. That threw all of this stuff that was claimed to be Newtonian out the window, basically, right, if you look into it. So they're always doing this. Like, he's saying gravity is a force, but it's not proportional to what he would term as mass, right? Whatever the hell that is, right? What he thinks that is, right, is wrong. So he's wrong to say it's a force, then he's wrong to refer to that force as not being proportional to what he thinks this mass thing is. He's wrong twice in the one sentence.
You need to look that up and find out.
I can explain if you want. At non-relativistic speeds, at regular non-cosmic masses, yes, you can say that the force of gravity is proportional to the mass of the thing.
Hold on.
He's just wrong.
See, he's totally wrong, but he's going to invoke a force locally, a local force. They're always at this stupid nonsense. None of them understand general relativity. And those that do, even they don't want to deal with it because, there's no force.
Right. The minute they start...
Sorry, go on.
No, I was just going to agree with you. The minute they start studying Einstein, they'll have to appreciate that there isn't a force there, which is required to magic away certain inconsistencies in their own rhetoric. They need forces, but they haven't got any if they understand Einstein.
We're talking about on Earth. We're not talking about space. We're not talking about vacuums. We're talking about on Earth. The principles of gravity means that all objects are equally proportional to mass.
Now we've got the flat earther making that claim. What a wanker. Why do these people step out onto the stage of flat earth? Why?
Gravity has a force equally proportional.
Does it? So now I've got to tell the flatty that he's not only wrong, not only trying to define something that he doesn't understand, that's not in his argument and doesn't support him, but he's doing the same as his opponent, who also doesn't know how gravity works, and is also describing it incorrectly as a force. You're both as idiotic as each other.
Force of gravity is proportional.
Sorry, the force of gravity. Let's just quote Brian Cox again. There isn't really a force of gravity at all. Dumbass! Learn your own rhetoric, you ignorant fool.
The force. So, in the Newtonian framework, the force of gravity is proportional to the mass of the thing that's being acted upon. Yes.
Yeah, 110 years out of date. Superseded by Einsteinian bent pseudo-geometry. So you're just wrong.
Okay, so by definition of gravity, that force creates a weight, right? If it
no, weight is just weight. Weight includes a flat Earth prerequisite that nobody's appealing to, nobody's detailed on either side. It's a perpendicular to a plane of reference downward vector if you're describing weight. Does gas have weight? You ever weighed a gas? Oh, right, no, you've weighed a container full of gas, and in your mind that means you're weighing gas because you're idiots. Now I'm putting words in your mouth because you're not saying this. I'm just giving the justification that the commenters will give below this video. Oh yeah, I got a scuba tank and put it on a scale and then filled it with gas and it weighed more. Therefore gas has weight. Yeah, we've heard it all before. We've been here 10 years. Meanwhile, gases expand in all directions. And where do they originate? Are they coming from the little gas factories in the sky? Is that where gas gets produced? No. Gases get produced at ground level. Come out of the ground and go up. But for the fact that they're impeded by the already contained pressurized gas we're all enjoying breathing, they might bounce off another particle and then hit the ground again. Yeah, then you experience the elastic collision that gas particles partake in, which is to say that they don't go down, go boom boom. They bounce off anything that they encounter. There's no force between them. Like two particles of gas aren't attracted to each other. They experience elastic collision having come out of the ground and ultimately going up. That's what gases do. So no, there isn't a force of gravity at all. Yeah, good.
Just all those idiots that would be going into your comments, but I put a scuba tank on a wind scales and fill it full of gas and it weighs more. Like, for all those idiots, they actually think that when you put that air that goes in all directions all the time, but when you put it into a scuba tank, it only goes down. Right? They're idiots. They're, when they explain that, and they hated this, they hated it, right, when I termed it this way, they're claiming upweight. What a crowd of bozos.
The Newtonian framework, gravity produces a weight, yes.
Gravity produces a weight, so gas is going down, go boom boom, go splash splash. You farts form puddles, do they, ponytail? No, you're just a wanker and wrong. No, the mass of gas is not attracted to the mass of Earth, you stupid idiot. Now you're just dumb.
Okay, are you going to answer my question?
Yeah, go ahead.
If you just give it a little J and hear what he said, you can hear him bringing in what he's calling incorrectly Newtonian gravitation. But the way he says it, he's bringing it in a specific area. Let's just say I can't remember the word he used, but it proves what we were saying earlier.
If it has mass and it has weight,
in the Newtonian framework, gravity produces a weight. Yes.
Newtonian framework. Yeah. In the Newtonian framework, that means there's other frameworks you can decide to invoke later. This is what's wrong with flat earthers when they won't learn things correctly before they go debating them. Learn these things first. Learn how to take him apart on his own paradigm. Don't go in there trying to show him photographs of things that's too far for him to see. Learn his own paradigm, and then it'll be way easier for you. Thanks, Nathan.
Yeah, well, the framework is appealing to is perpendicular to a plane, isn't it?
Well, if it's involving down, it is.
Yeah, it's a downward vector. which they don't have in their rhetoric. In their world of sphericity, there is no down. There's only in and out with respect to the centre of a ball. There's no plane to level a tool to, and there's no downward vector to appeal to. You need a plane of reference to do that. So when he says in a Newtonian framework, you're right, okay, so what, perpendicular to a plane, downward vector, gas go down, go boom boom, being the undoing of this garbage that's 110 years out of date. It's just you haven't kept up with your continuous credits about gravity. Yes, so you're just wrong, and the framework you're appealing to needs a flat Earth.
Okay, now, are you going to answer my question? What is the density of light?
Why? What relevance does this have to a flat Earth / globe Earth debate? Not that there is one, Earth's measured flat. A non sequitur, tossing out some red herring for this guy to chase after.
No, give me a second. Give me a second.
You've avoided my question.
So he asks him to give him a second, and you immediately start talking through me.
Question like a minute. You avoided my question.
So you're not going to get a second then?
Question like 10 minutes ago.
Because you don't understand and your question is irrelevant.
What do you mean no because? It means that's the start of a sentence that you're already interrupting.
I can assure you that I understand gravity better than you do.
So what he was actually interrupting was the opponent on the flat side saying your question's irrelevant. He didn't actually ask anything.
No, you don't. I understand
can assure
it more.
you I
so,
do.
like I said,
this is
if gravity is equally what causes the difference?
Imagine if some of them.
Yes, we'll ask anybody from Discord want to air their opinion. Again, while we've got a bit of an ad break, feel free. Oh.
Pressure gradient at sea level.
That sounded good. Go back 20 seconds and see if this is as juicy as it could be.
Okay.
I told you that it's
what is the
density
explanation?
Order of the molecules.
But it's the same molecules all the way up to 60 miles up.
We're not getting to hear the flatter. You're just hearing this guy interrupt him. Let's see if we actually get an unimpeded description that's perpendicular to a plane, because it sounded like we were going to get one.
I know what this is. This is explain your gradient. Your air
exactly, Brian.
Gradient.
Yep. Yeah, he's going to gradients.
That's okay.
Yeah,
I mean, that's okay. A gradient is also described horizontal. So what's wrong with that? It's flat Earth.
Vertical. It's a vertical. And
I mean perpendicular to the horizontal when you're describing any gradients. If you've got a whole load of different density materials in a like a vial or whatever, when you've got the cherry and the cork and the oil and the water and they're all in one thing, they're all horizontal in terms of their orientation. Each density gradient, each layer is horizontal. That's what I mean. Now you're saying, well, no, you mean vertical. Well, yeah, if you stack them on top of each other, they're going up in a vertical manner. But, you know, these two things are tied to each other axiomatically, aren't they? So it wouldn't have mattered if I said either. But my point is that to describe this gradient, regardless of if you're going to suggest it's a gradiated pressure in air or a gradiated pressure with various densities of liquids, then you still need a horizontal plane of reference to describe it with.
No, there's not.
I just showed you a graph showing the makeup of the atmosphere without.
Did you? So, let's just see
sorry.
I mean, if you did, here we go. Let's have a look at this. This is using a flat plane if you're describing pressure gradients with it. It's a straight horizontal graph. So you're going to need upward vectors and horizontal perpendicular to the vertical if you're describing a pressure gradient. Atmosphere is an oxymoron. I don't care what he says. It's not showing anything sphere-shaped in his graph, is it? You've got the height along the left. I can't see, it's too small, but I'm going to assume that the left-hand side of this graph is height. Well, that's perpendicular to a plane, isn't it? Atmosphere is an oxymoron. Saying that you've got sphere-shaped air. No. Air has no inherent shape. That's what atmo it means. It means air. So the atmo is air sphere. Well, no, there's no such beast, unfortunately, for these two numpties. Air sphere, no. But you do measure pressure perpendicular to the plane of reference. It's altitude on the left-hand side of this graph. It might not be, I can't see. But if I assume that it is.
I mean, you're just wrong. The makeup of our atmosphere is unchanged with altitude.
He just said altitude, I was right. Let me just do this, Brian, and then you can go. If you're going to describe altitude, you're going to need a flat Earth for that. Altitude's measured off surface level. Sea level is the overall average that's used to describe it worldwide. So to describe this, you require a flat Earth. Now, it's just how Earth gets measured with altitude. Altitude's off surface level. Like an altitude angle, elevation angle, it's off the surface level. That's how pressure is measured. So again, not limited to gas pressure in this instance, but all Earth measurements require Earth be measured flat. And here we are again with another numpty from the ball side appealing to flat Earth measurements of, in this case, altitude for pressure. Now, you're going to need a flat Earth for it. Don't use our stuff, idiot. Oh, yeah, Brian, go ahead.
Sorry, I just wanted to point out very quickly. Now he's up there. It was okay because it was good. He contradicted himself a second time. He's speaking about an atmosphere, then he's talking about a gradient and then altitude. Both those things require a horizontal plane of reference as not verticals. So he's in contradiction in 2 times. Sorry, Nathan.
No, you're
That's
absolutely
what you
right. You
said.
summarised
But
it.
I just said it in the short form.
No, yeah, I'm going to congratulate you because I said it in a long form, which was nowhere near as effective as what you just said. Yes, you've just said it in a much shorter form. If you're going to describe atmosphere, it's paradoxically describing the height off surface level if you describe the altitude. You can't have it both ways. You're contradicting yourself. Meanwhile, how is Earth actually measured with altitude for these pressures? That requires Earth be measured flat. Earth is measured flat. That's how Earth is measured. Please share the show, smash the share button, obviously, if few of you have, because we're now almost up to 70 people watching, which is better than nothing. Be nice if we actually hit the 100 mark, but nevertheless, with a bit of effort from you guys, I'm sure we can smash through the 100 barrier one day in the not too distant future. Just have to share. Also, please support this channel. If you did want to smash the super chat, hit me up on PayPal, Patreon, that would all be fantastic. All helps keep the lights on, and I'm eternally grateful to all of you who do so. So thank you very much if you have supported me. Please support the show if you can.
Correct. One more time? You cut out.
Right, is it only silence when he's cutting out then? Because the minute he starts talking, I can guarantee that you'll start talking through him.
Hello? Hello?
Hello?
I can hear you now.
Hello? I'm sorry, I had a phone call come in. So
Yeah.
you believe that pressure gradient is caused by gravity, right?
Who cares? You're measuring Earth flat for the pressure gradient described from sea level. So why not kill this discussion and prove Earth is being measured flat rather than asking him?
Right.
Do you have a better explanation?
I know Earth's being measured flat with it. That's where I'd have gone with this, because it is. Again, you can deny it. You can say, oh, no, we don't get these measurements off surface level. We get them off sphere level. No, you don't.
Well, I'm going to ask you a question if you believe that's caused by gravity.
I'm sorry.
So
are we establishing the cause of measured pressure gradients? We're just measuring pressure gradients with respect to surface level. That's a flat Earth measurement. It's maths. You're asking for the cause of that. What you will find if you had... To be fair, I wouldn't expect anybody to have actually gone through this. I was lucky enough to listen to greater minds than myself discussing this and getting to the conclusion that to describe this, you need a second-order effect of entropy. In other words, the first-order effect is entropy, and you're never going to figure out the cause of a natural law. It's a description of something that occurs always. Now, in order to figure out the arrow of time, that's entropy, you'd need to rewind time to figure out the cause of it. Now, the best I can do is say it's down to the creation of Earth and how it is governed by how it functions. Now, you can describe that. It is described. It's described in the second law of thermodynamics, entropic dispersion specifically, gradation being the result of a high concentration of gas being produced at ground level and then measured from surface level through altitudes, measured flat, perpendicular to the plane. But that's not an explanation for why that occurs. You're never going to explain entropy. Now, like I say, I don't expect the average layman to know this. I wouldn't have known it, but for the fact that I sat with people more intelligent than myself, debating it for about 5 days straight to figure out what the cause of things like gradiated pressure would be. Well, you're never going to. It's a second-order effect of entropy. First, you have entropy, gas dispersing in all directions, entropic dispersion, the arrow of time. You're never going to rewind the arrow of time. You're never going to figure out the cause. So give up. There's no point. Now, like I say, I'm not going to moan at you for not knowing that. It's not reasonable. Go ahead, Brian.
Sorry, but you're going to need a container for all of that anyway.
To achieve the gas pressure in the first instance, yeah. To have pressure at all, you need containment. Debunking the fact that they suggest we've got a sky vacuum. Yeah,
sorry, Nathan. What was his question? What was it he asked there that caused you to talk about entropy? I missed that.
He's asking for the cause of entropy, basically. What causes the pressure gradient is the question.
Well, we could display all kinds of stuff, and I could give him the cause being the sun, no bother. But and other factors, but he can't give me anything on his side. This is the thing. Like I can't give him the cause of entropy, but I can detail what's happening, and it's no bother, easy, totally do it. But he can't give me anything. In his paradigm, he has nothing for that.
Yeah, descriptions are not explanations, is what you're saying. But you're saying also, adjacent to that, in his paradigm, he has no description, let alone explanation for it. There's just nothing from them in this regard, right?
Yeah, they're always asking us about it, but they don't have that. And all they have is a claimed force of gravity, which is overcome by entropy.
Right.
Like even if a force of gravity existed, it still couldn't overcome entropy. Right. That's the point. I mean, Dewey used to make this point all the time. Like the fact that the gas is going up at all, right? If you take it mathematically, what he's saying, I understand. Like, I'm sure you do understand what he's saying. What he's saying is like if he's claiming a force of attraction towards the center of a sphere, then the fact that the gas is raging off at the surface of that sphere, it's already defeating the strongest pull that gravity has. So there is no stopping it after that. Do you know what I mean? It's like entropy can't be stopped. He needs gravity as a force to exist and a sphere to exist, and it to overcome entropy, which would then kill him. The guy he doesn't understand. Like he's pardon the pun, but he's making an argument in a vacuum, like you often see today.
I'm going to round out the live show. Has anybody got any comments they want to add while we're live? We've got Ballbusters tomorrow.
I'm not sure. I heard QE say something about it. I also read a message that QE went in and destroyed Indio and those guys in 24/7. I would like to hear that.
That doesn't answer my question. Does anybody know if we've got Ballbusters? Because I'll plug it. Potentially, be here or be sphere for Ballbusters. I don't know if we actually are running Ballbusters tomorrow, but I think we are.
He did say something about it. I'm pretty sure he said there was one this week.
I thought he did. I could have swore he said something about being on Ballbusters this week, so I'll do a plug. So be here or be sphere on the Quantum Eraser YouTube channel tomorrow at 8 p.m. UK, and I think it's 3 p.m. Central Standard or 2 p.m. Central Standard, one or the other. But on the Quantum Eraser YouTube channel, there will be a Ballbusters. But if you are watching this live, unfortunately, this is where we bid you farewell. If you're watching on an after show, however, stay tuned, as there will be, as I say, an after show to follow.
Yes, they say, what are you doing? Dr. Blitz is on TikTok. Why don't you guys go in there? He's saying Flat Earth is dead. So I was listening to it. I tried to get in and I couldn't. I didn't know how to figure it out. And then I just started listening on YouTube. And I went into the chat. But right from Jump Street, I'm like, this has got to be a setup. I mean, these people sound retarded. One guy came in, he said, the guy in the beginning was like, he asked him, so you think the Earth is flat? So the guy said, no, I know it's flat. So I'm getting all ready. I said, oh, shoot, this guy knows it's flat. This is going to be good. And he goes into gravity. He said, good, gravity don't work. I was like, oh, you got to be freaking kidding me. This is what you get.
Well, I know the Earth is flat because, like, the flag on the moon, like, wiggles back and forth sometimes in some videos.
He said that too, right?
It's not that it's a setup, it's that the people who are repeating the rhetoric from the more popular flat earthers are repeating the rhetoric from the more popular flat earthers. And why are they the more popular flat earthers? Well, because they talk garbage. So they're promoted so that people who pick up on their rhetoric can repeat garbage back to an audience and sound like idiots. So there's a reason Dave is popular. He's popular because he's there to prop up the garbage narratives that they need us to repeat verbatim. And flatties do it, don't they? Ether and gravity and flat Earth being proven because there's no gravity. This is all crap from people like Dave, isn't it?
Yeah. Yes, because in one of it has to be, because in one of the guys, he appealed to Jiren. He said, so why one of the most prominent flat earthers, why did he turn back to the ball when he went to Antarctica? Because he let the sun sit in the sky for 24 hours. That can't happen on a flat earth. So yeah, it's the same nonsense.
They follow a sensationalist like David Boyce. And that's who they follow. And then they end up in this type of situation and they don't know what they're talking about.
Exactly.
There's no educators there, right? They're dealing with sensationalists, not educators. Like, Eric Debate is very good, but he can't educate you on how to debate. He can show you some stuff, and most of the time he's right about what he says. He's not always right, he gets things wrong. But most of the time he's right. And what he puts out is normally good content and has consistently been for 10 years. Right? He's the first content I've ever heard. He's the reason I switched. But the point is that he is still not going to teach you how to deal with that situation. They need educators. But they're interested in listening to people who aren't educating them, who are giving them a fantasy. You know? Technically, this is going to sound stupid, just very quickly. Technically, those people who are flat earthers there, they'd be better served paying Ruhif to teach them how to debate than listening to David Wolf or whatever they're listening to. Because at least then when they get into a debate, if Ruhif just taught them what to do, right, some of his tricks, at least when they get in there, they have something. You know what I mean? Or fight the flat earth. They'd be better off learning how to debate from the borders than listening to some of the flat earthers. If you're going to go into a debate, you know what I mean? There's going to be things happening, and if you're not learning those, if you haven't learned those things, and they don't come natural to you, then you're in trouble.
Right, but the way they come in, the way all these people came in, they were giving him the upper hand. I wouldn't even allow that.
Yeah, but that's because they don't know what they're doing. Well, they end up in topics with people like him, because he red herrings left, right, and centre. And he brings them away from things. He makes claims, doesn't support them, then red herrings the flat earther away from that claim onto some other thing that he's questioning the flat earth about. Do you know what I mean? He'll just make a blanket claim, support nothing, not be challenged on it because he's red herrings away from that thing, and the flat earther then is talking about a different topic. Do you know what I mean? And look, it seems to an audience like he's winning. But the flat earther, just where the flat earther is going wrong is, the more they may not actually have the evidence, right, for what they're claiming. Right? The evidence exists, but they may not have it or may not be able to relay it correctly. Number two is they don't know when they're being fooled via red herring or reversal of the burden of proof fallacy. Do you know what I mean? These type of things. And someone like a man, Dr. Blitz, he's going to use them all day long. You know, and he'll look like the absolute winner at the end, and yet he's produced no evidence for anything. And he's and those who understand, like Nathan, himself, other people, you know, they're listening to him contradict himself. And obviously not know what he's talking about. But he knows what he's talking about way better than the people who are up against him. So he gets away with it, you know.
I take him right to the measurements and I don't let him go. Because if you bring him to the measurements, he's going to go to Eratosthenes or he's going to go to Al-Biruni, and then you got him.
No, I just need him go anywhere he wants. And I deal with him right
Yeah, you can, because you can handle all of those heliocentric claims that he comes out with. Me, I'm staying away from that. I'm taking him right to the measurements and ending his flow.
The point I'm making is I let him go wherever he wants, and then he'll have to support whatever claims he's making about that thing.
Well, when that happens, they'll just lie. Like you described, measuring elevation angles off surface level, because that's what elevation means. And they'll say, no, it's off a tangent plane. You go, well, that means it's measuring off a flat plane rather than off the surface. Then they'll start lying and saying, no, it's not measured off a plane. You know, you've got to lie to Earth.
Then it's round and round you go.
Yeah, based on their lie. That it's off surface level, but that's not surface level of their ball. It's a tangent plane that we do measure from. But then they'll deny it being a plane that we measure from when it's awkward to admit that we're measuring from a plane. Like I say, you've got to lie.
It's slightly different.
When you get to the point that
how would you do it, Brian?
I'm not saying.
All right, so he's going to come in here because I invited him in.
What I would do would be a little bit different. It's just I'd be going the same direction as Dayton. I would place the questions in the different places. That's all.
Yeah.
Look, I told him stop going after the low-hanging fruit. I politely invited him to flat earth debate, and let's see what he does. My son said he takes challenges. Like, you could just send him a challenge and he'll show up. No? I sent him a challenge. He's going to read his comments. See if he comes. If he don't come, you know damn well he knows all about flat earth debate. Knows all about ball busters. He's not an idiot.
Edgewise has an opinion on if you need horizontals to measure angles, but you gonna say anything, Edgewise?
That's a straw man. Nathan never said, no one says you need a horizontal to measure an angle, but you do need straight lines for that angle. If you're talking about an elevation angle off the surface of Earth, then you need a horizontal. Just an angle, you don't need a horizontal all the time to measure an angle. You can never measure an angle at 38 degrees below horizontal.
Oh, yeah. But no. Oh, sorry. It's just, I mean, we were speaking strictly about elevation angles. That's why I didn't elaborate further. He knew what I was talking about. I mean, he just messaged me like 15 seconds ago.
Yeah. So, how large is your horizontal plane that you need to measure to? Can it be like
welcome to flat Earth.
Half a meter? No,
Welcome
horizontal plane doesn't mean flat Earth, right?
You just said we need a horizontal plane of reference to measure from, and we're measuring elevation. That's from surface level, isn't it?
Yeah, and tangent plane that you wanted to admit.
Sorry, yeah. Sorry, did you say yeah? You muttered yes.
Yeah, and I knew exactly if I would say it's flat my tangential plane, you would say welcome to flat Earth and have nothing more to offer.
Tangential planes have nothing to do with the orientation of horizontal. There's no tangential plane around the sphere you're claiming that can be called horizontal.
Maybe you didn't know. Hold on a sec, Brian. Let's just check if he knows that. You know what an elevation angle is defined as, right?
From a plane of reference, yeah? Or a line of reference,
specifically,
or whatever.
Specifically the surface, though. If we're dealing with Earth, it's the surface level.
If you're talking about surface of Earth, yes.
My question was, do you know how it's defined?
Elevation angles exist from other stuff as well, so...
That's not answering my question. So is it a no? Because I'll define it for you. I've got 20 of them. They all describe Earth being measured flat in them. But you obviously don't know that?
I know that we measure from references.
Define it. Okay, no worries, define it.
Okay, so from the tangential plane, or...
Right, where's this citation coming from? Sorry, where's the citation? First, when you cite where it's from, we'll accept it. Where's it being cited from? Not you defining it.
Okay, give me a minute. I have to post it.
Okay, well, while you do that, I'll read out a few of mine. The altitude angle, sometimes referred to as solar elevation angle, describes how high the sun appears in the sky. The angle is measured between an imaginary line between the observer and the sun and the horizontal plane the observer is standing on. That's sustainable by design, defining an altitude angle. Angle of elevation. The angle of elevation is the angle between the horizontal line and the line of sight which is above the horizontal line. It is formed when an observer looks upwards. Suppose you are standing at a terrace of a building looking upwards at the sky or sun or moon. The angle is formed between your height from the ground level and the line of sight formed is called the angle of elevation. That's formulas, definitions, and examples. Elevation angle. Want another one? The altitude angle, sometimes referred to as solar elevation angle, describes how high the sun... I've already read that one. The upwards angle from the horizontal to a line of sight from the observer to some point of interest. Need another one? An angle of elevation is the angle from the lower object to the higher one, while an angle of depression is the angle from the higher object to the lower one. Both angles are measured with respect to the horizontal plane of the reference object. Another one? Another one?
Does it say the reference object needs to be flat forever?
It's defining that we're measuring from surface level. It's part of the definition because it's describing elevation. And the elevation is from the plane of reference the observer is standing on. Meaning we would be and are... Is it just me or am I being interrupted? Is it just me? What have you posted? Do you want to read out what you posted? While we're waiting, target elevation angle between the horizontal plane and the line of sight measured in the vertical plane through the line of sight. Positive angles are measured upwards from the horizontal plane. That's principles of naval ordnance and gunnery. Want another one? I haven't got any from you so far, Captain Edgeways. I did get you interrupting me, though, and asking me questions about how it's defined with respect to a planar surface. None of these said anything about tangential to a ball, I imagined. They all described the surface level, though, that we will measure for an elevation angle, as defined. Can't be an elevation from a ball surface, and if it's tangential, it's nothing to do with the surface of your ball, that is. Meanwhile, we do measure from surface level. It's the horizontal plane, part of the measurement. Ergo, Earth can only be measured flat for an elevation that's off surface level. Angle, measurement. Hope we're clear. Are we clear? You're under the misapprehension it had something to do with tangents and balls dangling below them. It doesn't. It's got something to do with the surface level you're measuring. Do you understand that now? I'm asking you a question. You said it had something to do with a tangent to a single point on your ball surface. I'm saying no. Number one, that is not incorporated in any of my cited sources that define that the requirement for a surface level is part of the measurement. Not tangential to a ball, or it wouldn't be your ball surface. Are we clear, is my question.
But yes, we are clear. And
well, welcome to Flat Earth, then. Welcome to... my question didn't involve anything more than a yes or no answer. You now understand how wrong you were when you decided to incorporate the word... You're just going to rumpus me. I wasn't inviting you to chat shit through me. I'm telling you something. You were wrong, Captain Edgewise, when you suggested, now you're rumpusing the crap out of me, that it was tangential to a ball surface we're not measuring. You're wrong. It's the horizontal plane the observer is standing on. For it to be an elevation with reference to the surface, we're measuring the surface. Now, it's not your ball surface that you suggested it was tangential to at a single point, because then it's not an elevation angle measurement as defined. You're clear now, so I will welcome you to the flat Earth we measure with elevation angles. Welcome to flat Earth. Earth's measured flat.
Yeah, who was that? Captain Edgewise?
The guy who came yesterday and said it wasn't a plane of reference that we measure because he got a lie to glurf. That's all you can do, liar. So when he came here yesterday, he lied about not being a plane that we measure. He's conceded that today and said, yes, we do measure a plane of reference with elevation angles. So not the surface of a ball that we're measuring then. No, it's not. He just had to lie because he's a glurf scumbag liar. That's what glurf scumbag liars do. They lie about not measuring their ball surface when we measure Earth flat with elevation angles off the surface level, as defined. As a result of his lies, I've had to take him through his lies and explain how wrong he was. What he did during that period was rumpus me. I wasn't asking for anything more than yes or no answers from him to confirm his glurf scumbag lies and how wrong they were. Now we've done that, I've welcomed him to Flat Earth and he can shut his mouth. We don't want to interact with him beyond correcting his lies that he spewed here yesterday.
I might have missed it, Nathan. Did he come back with a definition and where it was cited from?
No.
Or not?
Yeah. Check Globe Earth Center.
Speak into your mic, and if you're on Bluetooth, take it off, Edgewise.
Mike's a train wreck, Edgewise. Your mic's a train wreck.
Yeah, I don't have any other on my phone.
Oh, well, then just get lost.
You did understand me.
Sorry, your mic's a train wreck. I can't hear a fucking word you're saying because your mic's a train wreck. Are you deaf?
You just answered me.
Are you
so
deaf?
You understand me.
Are you deaf? Are you going to keep yattering at me through your train wreck of a mic, you stupid spaz? Fuck off and get a decent mic, you stupid wanker. We can't hear a fucking word you're saying, you mumbling buffoon with a crap mic.
Yeah,
I know where you can
it's
get
unaudible, Edgewise. Or inaudible.
Can I just say that there's at least...
Stop mumbling, Edgewise. Oh, it's Brian. Oh, go ahead.
That was a good one.
I just want to say that there's at least, and I mean at least, 4,665,600,000 tangents to a circle, or any, right, to a circle at any point, right? So in any, let's just say what he would call a great circle route, there is that many tangents to that exact circle. Let's just say, right? So which one of them is the horizontal? Which one of the over 4.5 billion is the horizontal?
None of them.
Yeah, exactly.
So when we define it as the horizontal plane of reference the observer is standing on, and he says tangent, he hasn't got that to conform with the definite. Yeah, we know. We covered that. He's just a liar. He lied. He said it wasn't a plane that we were measuring yesterday because he's a liar. We're measuring Earth flat as a reference plane that we're standing on, as per the definition and prerequisite for it to be an elevation that's off surface level measurement. You said it had something to do with the ball, but definitely not your sphere surface that we're measuring then. But meanwhile, we are measuring the surface level. It's part of the measurement.
You got to cite the one that specifically says Earth. I know you have it there somewhere.
Me, I read out plenty.
Yeah, but there's one you read that specifically says the Earth that the observer is standing on.
Most of them say that.
That's sustainable by design, that one.
No, that says the ground.
The solar altitude, AS, measures the angle between the central ray from the sun and a horizontal plane contacting the observer. eeducation.psu. Altitude angle is the vertical angle between the projection of the sun's rays on the horizontal plane of Earth's surface. MCQS to sardia.com.
Yeah, you can't get around that one. Sorry, but good.
The important part there is the word horizontal, because that means that what's being measured has to be a straight line, right? That means that the height above it must be 90 degrees to it, so that has to be vertical, which is another straight line. And then the third line will be the one connecting those two straight lines, and that will be the angle, right, which will be the angular height of that straight vertical. That's a right angle triangle in the orientations of horizontal and vertical. Well, it's adjacent and opposite.
Oh, yeah? Well, how'd you get the height of the star then, Brian?
Yeah. I heard that one yesterday. You were pissing me off all over again on that show.
Who?
But this is the.
Who was pissing you off? Sorry, Neil, Brian. I just want to.
Brian, you ran that show where I was freaking going back and forth with the Bauman guy, and I listened to it again, and I said exactly what you said I didn't say. I was getting mad at Brian all over again. You didn't say the elevation angle. Whatever. Go ahead, Brian.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I have no idea what that you're talking about. You'll have to send it to me later or something. No, the important part is not just the triangle you're using, it's the orientation of the triangle. Because a horizontal is not a curve. Horizontal is only ever a straight line in the orientation of horizontal. Right, so that means there can only be a vertical height above them. You know what I mean? It's like there's no way around that. It's an orientation issue. It's not just straight lines, it's the orientation of those straight lines. As soon as the word horizontal is invoked at any point, right, or level, because level is horizontal, but it's better if they say the word horizontal, then it's over, game over, because those orientations can only exist on a flat earth. They cannot exist on a globe. As I pointed out a minute ago, there was at least 4,665,600,000 tangents to any segment. At least. And I could break that down by 60 again. Or multiply that by 60. Do you know what I mean?
I've got to object to this. You've done it twice, but therefore I can't help but object. No. On any spherical surface, if you want to describe how many tangents you can have to it, the number is infinite.
I said at least, And the infinite doesn't exist, Nathan. There isn't an infinite. That doesn't exist.
But I mean, there's an infinite.
So I have to correct you there.
Well, there's an infinite amount of numbers that you can get from a circle in terms of, unless you've got it on a screen where you've got pixels making it up, an actual true spherical surface has an infinite number of tangent planes that you could draw to it.
Infinite doesn't exist mathematically.
Oh, fine.
So that's
Fine, you put a number on it then, Brian. Whatever.
4,665,600,000. At least, I said. I was very clear with the term at least.
Fine. I was going to add a 1 on, but I can't remember the full rendition of the number, so I can't add a 1 on to it.
Yeah, you can't add on the wood.
4,674,001.
That's infinite to me.
The point I'm making is that
no horizontals.
Which one of them is horizontal?
Yeah, I got your point. Your overarching point is far more strong, which is to say that, well, which one's the horizontal? Well, none of them.
Is this what I was talking to you about, Nath? It's the radian.
A couple of days ago, yes, exactly. You had to go to space to do it, but it was still quite eloquent. Weren't you using Mars in your example?
No, that's a different argument. That was me saying that if you lived on Mars, you'd still have to use Polaris as your navigation, it's the only thing that's still solid in the sky. And obviously Mars just circles around Polaris, so it should work the same. But what I was saying to you is what Brian's talking about measured angles from the center of a sphere. There are infinite amounts of those angles.
There's no infinite.
I don't think you can map it anyway. I don't think there's a map in the world that says, well, if you're at this angle here on the sphere, that's where you will be on the outside of the sphere.
Yeah,
if you're going to be claiming there's an infinite, then you'll have to give me that number.
You can't. No, I can't. You're right, Brian. I'm just going to concede it to you now. But in terms of how they actually do it, right?
It's something of the power of 4 or something for crazy, but for lack of a better word, let's just use infinite.
Yeah. But that's not his overarching point. His overarching point, which one's horizontal? If you've got all of these different tangential planes to a ball that you've presupposed after measuring Earth flat to create it, which one's the horizontal? Answer, none of them.
Yeah, agree.
It's a back calculation, so they slap a flat plane on top of a sphere so they can say, oh, well, we have got this tangential plane to a sphere to measure the flat plane with respect to the surface angle. That's elevation angle. But that isn't how it will function with the ball. After you've done that, you've then got to transpose that plane inside the ball so that it can work with the extended celestial plane. beyond the equatorial plane, because what you're really utilising is the elevation angles to all of the stars in a Polaris-centric system. So all of them need to be referenced to a plane. Now, if you just reference it to the equatorial plane, it simply isn't big enough. So you have a bifurcated protractor, they call the ball Earth, with the tangential plane that you did not measure from transposed within with an extended celestial plane. And that's where you get Brian's description from yesterday. Then you describe the distance to the stars in that system as infinite, as in there's no fixed distance to them, which pisses us off, or pisses Brian off more accurately, when they start asking us as a straw man, well, what's the height of the stars? Well, in your system that utilises flat Earth measurements to derive a sphere and then put in Keplerian motion, transposition of flat plane measurements inside the ball will be followed up with a claim that you've got an infinite distance to any star that you're using. But you're going to ask me, you've got the gall to ask me what the distance is when we measure it flat. Yeah, that's the last get out of jail incoherent free card that they use. On a slightly different subject, my wife's into 65 hours of a 70-hour or 3-day fast. So she's really, really stroppy and probably could do with some encouragement. She really wants to eat something, and I'm like, nah, you're into, I don't know how to say the word, I think it's autography, where you start breaking down your white blood cells and replacing them in the 3rd day. She's at that stage. I'm like, no, just give it till the end of the day. But she's really, really hungry.
Tell her I said keep going. Tell her she's doing very well. Tell her I only ever did a 24-hour one myself. Tell her that she's 3 times better than I was.
Yeah.
Tell her it's only till the end of the day. And then tomorrow, tell her tomorrow, think about this time yesterday for her. And then tell her to think about this time tomorrow. It'll all be over.
Yeah. Come to me when you hit 72 hours like I did.
Yeah, 72 hours is the full 3 days. That's where she's at. If she survives another, I don't know how many hours, maybe 5 or 6 hours, till 11 o'clock tonight, then she's done the full 3 days.
Oh,
she's on the 3-day one now.
Yeah.
It's 4 o'clock in the day. It's only 7 hours. She could do this. 7 more hours out there. It's like she's on the 22nd mile of the marathon.
Yeah.
Just leave it happen.
Yeah, I'm glad you've said it.
Don't remind her of any delicious food that's awaiting after she gently eases back into eating food, and just don't eat McDonald's.
At that point where, when you're down for a wee and you're on your way home, and if you wasn't on your way home, you could hang on, but when you start getting your key out your pocket to put it in the door, to open the door, you really want to go. That's where she's at with she wants something to eat. It's getting near the end now.
To be honest, when I was on the 72-hour one, by that time I wasn't even thinking of food. But once it hit 72 hours and the church service was over and it was done, I went right to McDonald's, and boy, did I pay the price.
Ugh, how could you do that?
And I knew better too. I did know better. But I figured, what's the worst that could happen? Oh boy, you don't want to know the pain I was in.
It was like bone broth, something like that, to break it. But I did a 72 hour. I felt amazing. I didn't want to eat again. I thought I'm switched on. My mind was sharp. I was talking sharp. I felt absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, that's what I find a bit funny. Sorry, I'm talking over you. That's what I find a bit funny about what Paul is saying. I thought Paul would be already in that position, but she wouldn't even want food. Because after a certain point, you don't want the food. Has she been secretly biting on little bits here and there? Because that would cause her to want food.
Has she
been sneaking the biscuit?
No, I don't think so.
Have you been watching her 24/7?
Yeah, I live with her. No, I don't think she's been sneaking food. I just think she's really hungry and just wants encouraging.
You haven't heard it in the middle of the night, a little crunch at the other side of the bed. A biscuit.
She's having a hobnob. Well, name's Paula. If you want to give us some encouragement, feel free.
Yes, Paula, hang in there. You can do it. Yeah, I hope you feel great, and you're doing a lot of good to your body and your mind at the moment. So, fantastic job. You're nearly there. Keep it up. We're all behind you.
He says thank you.
Paula, I got.
Yeah, keep it cool.
Got some biscuits down here if you want some.
That's not encouragement.
Yeah,
don't listen in, Paula. Think about it. If you wait till the full 72 hours, you'll feel so accomplished. If you stop it now, you'll think to yourself later, I should have just done those extra few hours. You'll be disappointed in yourself that you stopped now. It's only a few more hours to go. You know, get to that point and you'll feel so much better about yourself. You'll feel you've really accomplished it. You'll feel that you used real good willpower, because it takes a lot of willpower.
It's at that point. It's at that point that you've burnt off or killed, literally, your body's killing off your own white blood cells, right? So you're basically getting a little immune system reset, aren't you? So then your body has to start reproducing new white blood cells.
Yeah, that's correct. It's hard though. I know, as Paul had done it, it's hard if you just, I mean, I used to do the intermittent fasting. I still do the, probably once a week, a 24-hour one. I've not done a 3-day one for a while, but if you were just to go into a 3-day one straight away, you would probably feel hungry. You know, you've got to be able to, I presume Paul has maybe built up to that 72 hours.
No, this is her first time doing it.
Well, that's probably why she feels hungry now then. Because obviously if you do the 24 hours and build up to that way, you won't be hit with the hunger like she's probably got now. Just thought I'd throw that out there. But anyway, keep it up. We're all behind you. Come on, Paula.
Thank you. I'm sure she appreciates your words of wisdom, although she's not responding anymore. But yeah, brilliant. Thank you for encouraging her. Anyway, back to the usual topic of flat Earth.
Yep, it's measured flat. Sea level is level.
One last thing to say to her. If she needs to get angry, she can get angry at Nathan.
Whoops.
Yeah. And do break it with something like a bone broth, something like that, or a nice soup. Sorry to talk about food, but don't just scran it. Sorry, I've got a call coming in. I'll be back in a minute.
Yeah, no McDonald's. I'd say it's been quite a good week of shows. Which obviously means that
I'd say it has been.
Lowest ratings ever.
Well, what I would say is that if that's what's going on out there with Flat Earth, what we've heard, let's say, throughout the shows, including PB Live, this week, what will happen is there's going to be a consensus opinion out there that that's as good as flat earthers are when it comes to debates and whatever else, right? That they're good in some parts of the debate, but overall, like they're not great or whatever, right? But when they come across, but when one of these people happens by pure chance to come across, like someone off the panel here or whatever, yourself or QE or Adam or, you know, Refracted, I'm not going to start including myself. The point is that when they come across somebody who does from here, who knows what they're talking about, and I know what I'm talking about, but they're not making it about me. But that's going to be far more shocking, because what happens is people like Dr. Blitz end up gaining a confidence and arrogance. Do you know what I mean? They start having this ideal about the standard they're dealing with. Now that standard, no matter what's going on, those flat earthers will improve their abilities to debate, but it depends on how much improvement they have on it. But the thing is that Dr. Blitz and people like him are like, they have it easy. You know what I mean? They always have it easy when they're dealing with flat earthers who are kind of naive or new like that or whatever. But I mean, eventually, when someone like Dr. Blitz comes across someone like who's on this panel, you know, that's going to be a major talk.
Well, that's why Neil keeps
I mean,
saying he can't wait for the book to come out, because once you've got a few flatties actually reading decent flat Earth material about measurements of Earth and undoing and unpicking the rhetoric of the ball Earth in a way that you'd be happy with, Brian, and you've been sat in on a lot of the book editing, you know that the standard is that high. In other words, you'd be satisfied with them understanding how globe Earth doesn't work based on the book. That's when you get people like Dr. Blitz facing as, I don't know if it was your Neil that just said it, people like us, if you will, because they've read the book.
Well, yeah, see that because here, like the world is not, because we're so us, our group in particular, right? Via this show, QE show, my channel, anyone here, right, who has a channel is connected to this QFED, they're all suppressed, heavily suppressed, and people out there who think that they've dealt with everything that Flat Earth has got to offer don't know that we exist. But eventually they will know it. And it'll happen all of a sudden as a massive surprise to them. And it might happen when they're at the other side of the table of a debate, publicly. Do you know what I mean? And suddenly what they thought was going to be an easy for them, because it's, because they're used to having it easy, like with the Flat Earthers earlier. They're used to having it easy like that. Suddenly when it's not easy, what's going to happen to them? Because how come all the people that used to try and come here and debate don't stop coming here? Is it because they kept on getting muted? Okay, they had to be muted sometimes because they were shown to not have any evidence for their claims, and they were shown to not be conceding when they were shown to be wrong, and not to admit when evidence was produced that they couldn't overcome. That's why they're not here. That's why all those people have gone to other places, to hang around the Discord and TikTok and everywhere else. That's why they're not here. It's very simple. So they can suppress us all they want. Eventually, someone is going to come across us. And that's all it does. So it just takes one spark.
Yes, I agree. It's just very noisy here at the moment.
I don't know, maybe he'll pop in here one day. Neil says he accepts invites to places.
Neil, if he does turn up here, right, and Nathan ends up going up against him, don't be coming in over the top and then shouting stuff at him. You'll have to just stay on mute.
What happened?
He's saying to you what he could also equally say to me, which is keep your mouth shut if I'm debating with him, Nathan, but he's just using you rather than me. So the same applies to me, Neil, in case you think you're being singled out. If he came and if Brian suddenly took up the reins, I'd have to keep my mouth shut.
Hold on, Brian. He does have a problem handing the ball off. I got to agree with that. But you told him the other day. He told you to step off. But the other day, I noticed you politely told him, move aside. I caught that, Brian. Very well done.
I can only say that I feel it was me there. It's his show. Okay? He can decide to shut me up by any he wants. But all I'm saying is that if Nathan is debating with Dr. Blitz, even though I want to come in, and I will, and everyone else who want to come in, and including you, will have to not do. We'll have to stay on mute. End the story. That's
I don't Nathan take care of him.
Until the opening is right. Because he's only going to get in the way of Nathan if he's debating Dr. Blitz.
No, not when these guys come in. At the end, we'll have our say. When people like that, like I said, when Danny Faulkner came in, I had no clue it was Danny Faulkner. I come bopping in my car. I hear some guy say something stupid. Taking so long to respond. So I jump in and say something. That's when Refracted said, Neil, he's a PhD. And then I put two and two together. I was like, oh, shoot, this is Faulkner. And then I just went on mute.
Yeah, but what you need to do is make sure you know who it is and what's happening before you.
Ah, Jesus God.
Well, I'm glad
Yeah,
you
Brian,
picked that
okay.
example, Neil, because in that particular example, I did make way for, in that case, refracted curvature and kept everyone else at bay while he took the reins, right? In other words, I did in that probably only in that example, actually managed to abide by that and keep my mouth shut.
Yeah, that was the mistake. That was a big mistake.
Nah, I don't think so.
You took care of them yourself.
Nah. Refracted curvature did an outstanding job.
Outstanding job of playing patty cake, bake the cake.
No. When refracted curvature debates, he has a particular way of doing it. He likes to concede everything to them. So, yeah, okay, I'll give you whatever it is you feel that you can use as a globe proof, because I'll end up using flat Earth measurements from your standard. Now, that's how he does it. So if you're listening to that and you go, oh, well, he's just conceded that. It's like, yeah, well, that's how he does things. But he's made it absolutely clear that he's doing that for the reasons I've just given. That's fine.
Well, Neil, I would say that he destroyed any folk now. It wasn't as obvious at the time, but it should have been very obvious, because the first question was about measurement and how can we basically is measurement the only way we can determine, what was his question? The true geometry of the Earth or something like that, and Faulkner said no. Or is measurement how we determine the geometry of the Earth? And Faulkner said no. That's it. So, when Faulkner said no to John's question there, I can't remember the exact wording of John's question. It was over. John could have gone, okay, thanks, bud. But, he didn't need to carry on after that. It was done. Because that was obviously wrong.
Fair enough. Right, has anybody got any comments from Discord? If not, I'm going to round out this live show. Not live show, after show. Last chance. Anything from Discord?
Yeah, I just wanted to bring up something, because you guys keep referring to bringing up a debate. I mean, for the past year, I think you'd be saying that debate's really over. There isn't really a debate to be had. We just have to really inform them of what the state of affairs actually is, which is measured flat. Isn't that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Yeah, because that's kind of what I've gotten. I just wanted to bring up that I had one of my best friends growing up. We kind of had a huge split over this flat Earth thing, and explaining to him that it wasn't really a debate. Once I told him everything about how it's measured and how sea level is, and I didn't go into anything disproving the globe. I mean, it wasn't even a debate yet. And then after that, it was just personal attacks after that. You know what I mean? So that's kind of where the affair. So every time I brought up this, it is not really a debate. It really is informing them the way it is, informing them how celestial navigation works and how it's required to be, a plane has to be measured in order for all these angles to work. That's kind of it. It's kind of like that's all I've had to say in order to get my point across. And usually that just pretty much now you can't even talk about it anymore. You just can't have this conversation. So that's my experience about where this whole topic has culminated into all these years.
I look forward to hearing it on the replay. My eldest is playing a ukulele and the other one's telling me about a gymnastics class, so I didn't really hear much of that, but I'm sure it was very excellent and I can't wait to hear it back. Thank you, Amir.
My pleasure.
Can somebody from my panel respond to him, because I didn't hear any of it?
Yeah, see, that's how they get, mate, when you explain it, and it's not a debate. You can't debate what horizontal is and level. And all you really need to say to these people is that sea level is used for the 0 degree baseline for all measurements on Earth. It's a level reference for all measurements on Earth. Simple as that.
I look forward to hearing your reply.
Laters, guy. Have a good weekend and enjoy your food when you eat it, Paula. Good one, Nathan, and everybody else. Peace, love, and happiness. And the earth
See you
is
one day.
flat. And the Greeks all knew that.
They sure did. And do.
I can't now. It's too noisy in here. I might just roll the intro without doing an outro.
Figure it out.